Welcome, crypto fam, to No One Daily Bitcoin Pod. We're pumping back in the green, baby. We've reclaimed 88,000 here this morning. Let's get it. We'll also be discussing the latest technical analysis as we do each and every day. Now, Tom Lee was just on CNBC and he says now that the deleveraging is done, I think that Bitcoin is going to catch up to gold. You already know, and gold just hit a new all-time high of roughly 3,400 an ounce. Now, also, Bitcoiner Plan B slams Ethereum, calls it centralized and pre-mined shitcoin. We'll also be discussing El Salvador works with NVIDIA to develop a sovereign AI infrastructure. There's pretty big news, as well as a massive BTFD. Metaplanet tops 400 million Bitcoin holdings with new $28 million purchase. And of course, Michael Saylor's strategy just bagged 6,556 Bitcoin for 555 million last week. Also, check it. Saylor keeps talking about Bitcoin as Cyber Manhattan. Max Keiser says at the rate the U.S. is failing, strategy is succeeding. I predict Michael Saylor buys Manhattan. We'll also be discussing breaking news. Financial firm Jefferies analysts say China and Russia are encouraging more domestic Bitcoin mining as the global hash wars continue. VanEck confirms China and Russia settling energy trades in Bitcoin, a major step towards de-dollarization. And Max says that BRICS will leverage gold stablecoin to counter the dollar hegemony. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. If you're new to the channel, important, smash the likes, go ahead, subscribe, then ring the bell. Turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod episode 1969. I'm your host, JV. It's April 21st, so happy Blackjack Day. It's the day after Easter. Hopefully you had a fantastic Easter weekend. Let me know in that live chat. But let's kick off today's show with our market watch as we do each and every day. You should be able to see Coin 360 pulled up here on your screen. Bitcoin still up 2.2% on the day, trading above 86,400. A few minutes ago, we were above 88, so we did correct some, but it has been bullish since the weekly close from yesterday, which is a good sign. Ether, not a good look. It's all the way back down in the 1,500 range and in the red on the day, while XRP, BNB, and Cardano are pumping and in the green. And checking out the coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap sits at 2.72 trillion. We're back on a rise. Bitcoin market cap 1.72 trillion. So the entire crypto market cap is literally a trillion higher than Bitcoin itself, which has the dominant market share. We have 83 billion worth of volume past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance soaring. Today we're up to 63.4%. Ether dominance at a multi-year low of 7%. Things not looking so good for Ether. Checking out top 100 gainers past 24 hours. We got Stacks, a very respectable altcoin, up 12% on the day. As you know, that's on the Bitcoin network. Shout out Kaspa, up 8%, and Decentraland, up literally 8%. And however, very modest gains after that. So interesting, but we'll pull up the crypto bubbles, get a visual perspective here. Let's start on the day and we work our way backwards. So safe to say today looks like a 65-35 green over red overall. Zooming out for the weekly perspective, I'd say 70-30 green over red, but for the monthly, there's a little humble pie for you altcoiners. Majority of the alts correcting, and in the red, I'd say 80-20, red over green. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index. Today we're 39 in fear. Yesterday 37, last week at 31, last month at 32. And checking out the infamous time chain calendar. We're currently on block number 893,383. We currently have 156,617 blocks to the next halving of 2028, and you can currently exchange one fiat monopoly dollar for 1,152 sats. So pick up the sats, put down the gats, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my man Sergio over at BitcoinCaps.net. Let's continue. We'll do a little TA, aka astrology for the broskies. You know what I mean? Of course, after the infamous freeze frame. But yeah, Bitcoin rally above 100 Gs may follow U.S. Treasury buybacks according to Arthur Hayes, just blaze. And that's right. Shout out Arthur. King Arthur, might I add. Investors seeking a biddy exposure may be running out of time to purchase below the six-figure price, as U.S. Treasury buybacks may signal the next leg up for the biddy. This might be your last chance, broskies, to buy Bitcoin below 100,000, according to Arthur Hayes, just blaze. Quoting him here. Seriously, fam, this might be the last chance to have to buy the Bitcoin post, hinting an incoming Treasury buyback as the bazooka for the Bitcoin price trajectory. Yahtzee, mofos. One of my favorite catchphrases from this man. Treasury buybacks refer to the U.S. Treasury Department repurchasing outstanding bonds from the open market to increase liquidity, manage federal debt, or stabilize the interest rates. These operations can inject liquidity into the financial system, often benefiting risk assets like the pretty little bitty going up forever, Laura. Other analysts predicted that the growth of the fiat money supply will be Bitcoin's main catalyst this year in 2025. Let me know you agree, disagree. Now, Jamie Couts of Real Vision says the biddy price could be pushed above 132,000 before the end of the year. I mean, to me, that's a given. I'm projecting 132,000 second quarter here in the year. Let me know your thoughts. Meanwhile, global trade war concerns may limit investor appetite until the U.S. and China reach a trade agreement. Bitcoin briefly rose this morning above 88,000. Had a little bit of correction, but we're still up in the green, up roughly 2,200 on the day. Quoting analysts here, looks like Bitcoin is a pumping on the continued dollar weakness. Precisely right. The weakening dollar, which is most likely going to continue. And quoting Ryan Lee, chief analyst at BitGet Research, strong volume and technical confirmation from a descending wedge. Breakout suggests a potential test at a 90,000 resistance with the macro factors like a weakening dollar and rising gold correlation reinforcing the biddy appeal as a hedge. And if you don't know, now you know. And some other news. Tom Lee was just on CNBC Squawk Box and says, now that the deleveraging is done, finito, I think that Bitcoin is going to catch up to gold. Take that, Peter Schiffmeister. As you know, gold has been breaking out, hitting new all-time highs. It was roughly $3,400 last night or early this morning when I looked. So if you don't know, now you know. And we'll also pull up the live chart because it's one of my favorite segments of the stream, so you can see where the biddy price action is and where it's likely to go next. And shout out everyone in that chat. Happy 420, roughly 420 people on the stream. Let's get it. But yeah, let's pull up some of this chart work, fam-a-lam. This is the live chart via TradingView, via Coinbase, and you can see how much we were ascending here. Big mega green candles consecutively, massive, and then we had a little correction back, but again, we're still above 87, so not too shabby. This is a 1 hour chart you're looking at, and again, live chart action Jackson. This is a 4 hour, consecutive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive green closes. So past 24 hours have been very bullish, and small corrective candle when we hit 88, currently just above 87.1 and continuing to climb. Would not be surprised if we recapture 90,000 here today, and maybe we'll flip today's stream to a pump watch when we're done with all the biddy news. Zooming out a little further, we take a look at a daily. Good sign. Today, big green candle already forming. Yesterday, itty bitty green. The day before, a green candle says 3 green consecutive days. Shout out Green Day. Y'all remember that band? Remember the album Dookie? Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. But anyways, speaking of the Green Day, zooming out a little further, we'll take a look at the weekly. As you can see here, notice I said weekly, W-E-E-K, not W-E-A-K. Silly bears. But yeah, you can see 3 consecutive green weekly candle closes, baby. I love it. And we did get a very strong close yesterday, hence why we continued our bullish momentum trajectory. Cup and handle target says 124,000. Again, would not be surprised if we hit that very soon here in the second quarter of 2025, the year preceding the halving, the most bullish time of the cycle. Yeah, I mean, and zooming out a little further, we take a look at the monthly, and the monthly says it's going up forever, JV. Thus far, bullish. Got another 10 days to go for the monthly close. But yeah, we're so back after a couple of straight up months of bearishness. Remember, we hit the all-time high all the way back on January 20th, which was Inauguration Day. We've been correcting since. Will we recapture price discovery? Holla at your boy, let me know. Yeah, next story of the day, broskies. Headline here. Oh, this is actually an interesting headline. I know Bring Facts will enjoy it. Bitcoiner Plan B slams ETH, calls it centralized pre-mined shitcoin. That's right. Synonymous Bitcoin stock flow model creator Plan B attacked Ethereum and mocked the project's co-founder Vitalik Buterin. Plan B mockingly reposted a post from 2022 of Buterin in which the co-founder of Ethereum said stock to flow is really not looking good now. Plan B responded with a new post stating Ethereum is really not looking good now. It's called karma, Vitalik. It is what it is. Plan B also said, I know it's impolite to gloat and all that, but I think shitcoins like ETH that are centralized and pre-mined have piece of shit instead of proof of work. Switch supply schedule at will are harmful and deserve all the mockery they get. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Plan B. And in his response to Buterin's criticism from years ago, Plan B claimed Ethereum and the network's coin Ether are centralized and pre-mined. Well, that's a fact. Pointing to its shift in proof of stake. That's a fact. It once was proof of work and then it changed. And it's been all downhill since. And changes in the issuance rate. And he said that those features are harmful. That's a fact. And deserve the mockery they get. Fact, echoing Buterin's old comment about the stock to flow, so be careful who you criticize there, Vitalik. Now, Plan B explained that an Ethereum full node requires 9 terabytes of disk space, meaning he cannot run it on his hardware. The kind of node in question is probably an Ethereum archival node, which, according to the Etherscan data, requires over 21 terabytes with the Geth client. Yeah, an Ethereum full node running the Geth client that prunes older states with the default settings requires 1.28 terabytes, according to the Ether scan data. The Bitcoin and Ether communities have long debated what constitutes a full node. This type of prune node cannot access the full historical data or generate Merkle proofs of the old blocks, which limits its research and bug-finding apps. Still, such nodes can engage in full trustless block and transaction validation. Bitcoin's full nodes require under 400 gigs, according to Statista data. Now, not everyone views the criticism as founded. Jeremiah O'Connor, chief technology officer and co-founder at crypto security firm TrueGuard, shared, Plan B's take is classic Bitcoin maxi energy, loud, confident, and missing half the picture. Well, I embrace that as the Bitcoin maxi. Yes, we are loud. Yes, we have the Bitcoin maxi energy. And no, we just understand Bitcoin enough to understand that there is no second best. And we also understand the truth about Ethereum. There is a reason it's been constantly declining in market share and value against Bitcoin since they switched their protocol. Nobody trusts this centralized pre-mine garbage any longer, and I think it's pretty clear. But anyways, calling ETH a shitcoin because it's not Bitcoin is like calling smartphones a scam because they're not landlines. And again, people that don't like Bitcoin are pissed off, but so be it. Let me know if you agree. Who do you agree more with? Let's just keep it simple. Do you agree with Vitalik or do you agree with Plan B? Personally, I'm not so fond of Ether. I don't trust it. It is centralized. It is pre-mined. And there's a reason a lot of people have lost trust in it over the years. But anyways, next story of the day, Bitty Broskies. This headline caught my interest. El Salvador works with NVIDIA, one of the largest stocks, I believe one of the Magnificent Seven, to develop a sovereign AI infrastructure. Let's get it. El Salvador, the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin, make it a legal tender. Shout out Bukele. Is working with the computer chip giant NVIDIA to implement the AI for the national development. El Salvador signed a letter of intent to collaborate with NVIDIA on sovereign AI, driving innovation and economic growth, according to the National Bitcoin Office of El Salvador. They just made the announcement here today. Big news. As part of the collaboration, El Salvador will benefit from NVIDIA's AI tools, resources, and expertise, enabling the development of sovereign AI capabilities, targeting priorities related to culture, language, environment, and economy. Quoting them here, El Salvador will focus on building domestic AI infrastructure, upskilling the workforce, creating solutions to address local challenges such as improving healthcare delivery, advancing education, and boosting economic productivity. El Salvador's latest collaboration with NVIDIA marks the country's commitment to encouraging AI usage to optimize multiple processes within the government and society. With its new AI push, El Salvador intends to establish AI training programs for developers, researchers, and government officials to ensure the nation nation has the talent to sustain its AI ambitions. So this is pretty major, not just for NVIDIA, but obviously for the nation of El Salvador, Bitcoin country. El Salvador's NVIDIA partnership adds to the growing list of AI-focused initiatives. As you know, they're embracing Bitcoin and AI pretty big time. In March of 2025, the ONBTC announced Salvador's university-level public education AI program, CUBO, touted as the only national education program bringing top-tier field experts. And of course, you got Stacy Herbert behind that, doing all that greatness. So shout out Stacy and Max, of course, who are, responsible for creating Bitcoin country on the real. And last year, Wood predicted El Salvador's Bitcoin and AI plans may boost GDP tenfold. Looks like she is one smart cookie after all that, Kathy Wood, eh? While El Salvador has been aggressively introducing AI initiatives, its Bitcoin ambitions have been somewhat deterred. As you know, regarding the IMF, they recently took the $1.4 billion loan. However, there's been a lot of FUD coming out of the IMF. The bottom line is they're continuing to purchase their Bitcoin, and they're not, stopping buying. In fact, they've been increasing their Bitcoin buys as a result since taking the $1.4 billion loan. So my understanding is they offered Bukele $1.4 billion. He's like, sure. And then he's thinking, I'll just buy more Bitcoin with it. Thank you, IMF. It is what it is. What are you going to do? Big buy from MetaPlanet. And also, we got a big buy from Sailor, MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy B. Then we'll discuss the latest with the BRICS movement, de-dollarization, movement towards Bitcoin, the global hash war, and the gold-backed stablecoins, and all that good stuff. And then we'll do some live Q&A and most likely flip it into a pump watch. But let's start right here. Japanese investment firm MetaPlanet increases Bitcoin holdings to more than 400 million after its latest purchase. MetaPlanet acquired 330 of the biddy for 28 million at an average price of 85 Gs per biddy, bringing the total holdings to 8,555 Bitcoin worth 414 million. According to their CEO, the firm's Bitcoin yield surpassed 119% year to date after the latest investment. As their CEO announced here on X, MetaPlanet has acquired 330 of the biddy for 28.2 milli at 85,600 per Bitcoin and has achieved a biddy yield of 119.3% year to date 2025. As of April 21st, today, we hold 4,855 of the biddy acquired for 414 of the milli at 85,300 per the biddy. Get with the Bitcoin slang, and if you don't know, now you know. MetaPlanet issued 2 billion of the Japanese yen, which is 13.3 million USD of the bonds, to buy more of the biddy on March 31st, roughly a month ago. The 414 million of the biddy holdings make MetaPlanet's Asia's largest and world's 10th largest corporate Bitcoin hodler, according to the Bibbo data, and the crowd is going wild. Meanwhile, Emmanuel Cardozo, market analyst at asset tokenization platform BRICS, the growing institutional presence of the firm such as Strategy and Tether is accelerating the 4-year biddy cycle. Let me know if you agree. Do you think the 4-year biddy cycle is accelerating? Quoting him here. That puts the bottom at around Q3 this year and a peak of mid-2026, but I think we might see things move a bit sooner because the market's more mature now with more liquidity. Good point. So he's basically a proponent of the extended cycle. So he does believe we hit a cycle peak thus far in the cycle this year, but he thinks next year, instead of it flipping bearish into a winter, will continue for another bullish year, hitting yet another all-time high. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. The latest acquisitions from MetaPlanet are part of their plan to accumulate 21,000 Bitcoin by the end of next year. Their goal for this year is 10,000 Bitcoin, and they're well on track. Often dubbed Asia's MicroStrategy, MetaPlanet has drawn comparisons to Sailor's company, as they often follow his blueprint, which I refer to as the Sailor put. But anyways, next story of the day, fam, the latest from Strategy B, major acquisition, just as we called. He posted the Sailor tracker on Sunday. Every time he has done that, the following day, he makes a big announcement of buying the dip. So headline reads, Michael Saylor Strategy bagged 6,556 Bitcoin for 555.8 million last week, according to their latest SEC filing. And as you know, they're the world's largest Bitcoin holder as far as publicly traded companies, and they were the first publicly traded company to do so back in, I believe that was in 2020. Strategy just acquired 6,556 Bitcoin for 555.8 million from April 14th to the 20th at an average price under 85,000 per coin, meaning they're already in the green and profit. The firm announced it in its latest 8K filing with the US SEC. The latest purchase accounts for 1.2% of the strategy total Bitcoin holdings of 538,200, well on his way to a milli. As of 420, happy 420 for the broskies, acquired for an aggregate amount of 36.5 billion at an average price of 67,000 per Bitcoin. So clearly in the green, multiple billion-dollar unrealized gains. The latest Bitcoin purchase was funded using proceeds from the common ATM and STRK ATM stock offerings, including the sale of 1.755 million strategy shares at 547 million and 91,000 shares of Series A preferred stock sold for 7.8 million. Hence, Saylor, Bitcoin Alchemist. The latest purchase follows Strategy's 3,459 BTC acquisition reported April 14th, which was first announced purchase by the firm after March 31st. Prior to that, Strategy did not report a Bitcoin buy between March 31st and April 6th, breaking the usual cadence as Bitcoin fell below 87,000. So they ultimately took a 1-week break before they continued the bitty buying spree. Now, this is a good quote from Max regarding Saylor. Saylor keeps talking about Bitcoin as cyber Manhattan. At the rate the U.S. is failing, the strategy B is succeeding. I predict Michael Saylor buys Manhattan. And if you don't know, now you know. Now for our feature story of the day. Max Keiser says BRICS will leverage gold stablecoin to counter the dollar hegemony. And VanEck confirmed China and Russia settling energy trades in Bitcoin, which is obviously a major step towards de-dollarization. And also breaking news just shared today from Bitcoin Magazine. Financial firm Jefferies analyst says China and Russia are encouraging more domestic Bitcoin mining. Now, this leads to a term coined by Max Keiser many years ago, which is the global hash war, where companies, or countries, I should say, are competing for Bitcoin. For example, Trump, who announced he wants to make America the Bitcoin mining hub of the world. And there's only enough Bitcoin to go around for one country to become the Bitcoin dominant superpower. And this is according to the likes of Max Keiser and Michael Saylor. So they're really urging and pushing for the Trump administration, hence their pro-Bitcoin, to really do something here and establish America as the Bitcoin superpower by purchasing as many Bitcoin as possible. And as you know, as long as it's a net neutral way to do so, they have the green light to do it, whether it's trading gold derivatives, paper notes, or whether it's, other creative ways they can find money being wasted and just pour it right into the Bitcoin, or whether it's just printing money out of thin air as money printer go brr. But these are some viable ways for the United States to get their hands on somewhere between 1 to 5 million Bitcoin, which is what Saylor's proposing for Trump to do. And if you do the math, 5 million Bitcoin would literally be 25% of the supply, which is mind-blowing. But as you can see in the key takeaways here highlighted in the yellow, Bitcoin mining difficulty is increasing, partially attributable to China and Russia encouraging more domestic Bitcoin mining. While the typically post-halving Bitcoin price rally has occurred mostly due to the election of Trump, the increase in the network hash rate has pushed up the difficulty and reduced hash price. That's right, the difficulty continues to hit a new all-time high, which is a good sign. And these tweaking economics are further pushing the miners to explore a pivot. So let's go. Let's dive a little deeper. This was more recent news. VanEck, major asset management giant who projects Bitcoin reaching like $1 billion per coin in the next 20 years, they confirm China and Russia currently settling energy trades using Bitcoin. So we're going to tap into this and we'll go from there. Bitcoin has become more than just a speculative asset. It is now evolving into a functional monetary tool, especially in economies seeking to bypass the US dollar, reducing exposure to US-led financial systems. VanEck's head of research says China and Russia have reportedly begun settling some energy transactions in Bitcoin and other digital assets, which is clearly a significant step that further drives the narrative of de-dollarization, hence in support of the BRICS movement. The global financial landscape has been changing rapidly with the Trump admin's April 2nd tariff package reigniting trade tensions. The tariffs targeting imports from China and the European Union have heightened risks of monetary and geopolitical fragmentation. VanEck notes this policy policy shift might be bullish for the biddy, as it could prompt the Fed to cut the rates. Will they cut the rates, though? What are your thoughts? The report explains that if tariffs affect GDP without causing a fresh inflation spike, it may reintroduce the liquidity conditions under which Bitcoin has historically excelled. This sets the stage for Bitcoin to benefit from an environment where liquidity is more favorable and interest in digital assets continues to rise. And in developments, China and Russia's decision to settle this energy trade using Bitcoin signals a shift towards crypto adoption on the global stage. VanEck's report emphasizes that this is no longer a theoretical concept, but a tangible reality. It's happening. Quoting them here, Bolivia has announced plans to import electricity using crypto, and French energy utility EDF is exploring whether it can mine Bitcoin with surplus electricity currently exported to Germany. These examples are indicative of a broader shift as nations begin using Bitcoin not just as a store of value, but also as a tool to circumvent the dollar-based financial system. The weaponization of trade and financial infrastructure, largely led by the U.S., has fueled this movement. Countries increasingly seek neutral settlement systems that avoid dependency on the dollar, and VanEck highlights that Bitcoin's growing adoption by nations like China and Russia could clearly accelerate adoption of crypto as an alternative settlement layer, marking a crucial shift in the global trade dynamics. Well said. I also want to touch upon this. Max Keiser stated that BRICS, driven by China and Russia and India, will push the adoption of a gold-backed stablecoin, which he has been calling to fight the hegemonic US dollar stablecoin. The former will have the advantage of being inflation resistant, according to Max Keiser. So let's dive a little deeper here. International markets are on the verge of a fight for dominance where emerging groups will defend their independence from the US dollar dominance. Max, current crypto advisor to the Bukele administration, and as we know, the Bitcoin mega perma bull, claims that gold will be one of the tools leveraged to counter the hegemony of the upcoming dollar stablecoin. That's right. And quoting Max, gold is the poor man's Bitcoin. Take that, Peter Schiffmeister. Keiser took it on X to explain what would happen in a scenario where the dollar starts becoming ubiquitous in international trade markets, with alternative blocks putting a defense organized with the digital gold right at the center. Quoting him here from X, the BRICS, principally Russia, China, and India, will counter any attempt by the U.S. to introduce a hegemonic USD-backed stablecoin with a gold-backed stablecoin. So that's what he firmly believes is going to happen. Furthermore, he added that this alternative would be favored by other countries, which would prefer a gold-backed token, given it offers protection against inflation and does not boost the U.S. hegemony, which is ultimately their dominance and their reign. Keiser added that adopting a gold currency would be easy, at least in India. Quoting him here, India already runs on a de facto gold standard, and Sharia law in Muslim countries, that's a fact, would dictate over a USD Reba coin as well. The idea of a BRICS gold-backed currency surged in 2023 when the concept of a BRICS unified token was still a part of the agenda of the international group. Economist Jim Rickards stated that the currency would mean trouble for the dollar, as it would go up as inflation and devaluation hit the U.S. economy, ostensibly leading to the greenback's destruction. Nonetheless, the idea did not crystallize. President Trump warned that he would hit the BRICS with a 100% tariff regime if they dared to play the games with the dollar, creating their currency to conduct intra and extra block trading transactions. And if you don't know, now you know. Let me know your thoughts with some of those headlines, especially regarding China and Russia encouraging more domestic Bitcoin mining as the global hash war continues. Bitcoin game theory in full effect. And if you don't know, now you know. Welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. I've been getting 3% yield, risking only 10% of the biddy since 2019. Stablecoin usage will also help the dollar, but could stand indefinitely against the gold-backed true non-fiat currency. Dana says, good deal. I think one of the most interesting ways to make the biddy is to make some in the liquidity pools. Your Bitcoin rewards unrealized gains, making your stack bigger. Not income, I believe, unless you sell, according to the data biter. Word up. But here's what we're going to do. Now that we're at the Q&A segment of the stream, I have 20 minutes max. I can stick around before I have to head out, pick up my daughter. So we're going to play the brand new Bitcoin Army track produced by Chandy. The music video has never been shared before, so we're going to premiere it for the first time right here live on stream. You guys got to let me know your thoughts on it. and then we'll do a little bit of Q&A, and we may just flip it to a pump watch. That way I can keep the stream running while I'm out and about picking up my daughter, give you guys some entertainment, and we'll jam out to some Chandy Jams. Of course, we have the playlist all updated and all that good stuff. So yeah, give me a second. Let's play Chandy's brand new music video, Bitcoin Army.
Attention! Bitcoin Army, listen up. Hodl gang, rise up. We go left, 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 right, left. Bitcoin is the IQ test. They bound us in chains, we broke them with blocks. Ghosts of Satoshi pop the locks. Bitcoin goes going, 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 going.
From backwards to high rise, we found the flame. Mountain cities, tiny towns, forged together we're the orange race.
I'm a member of the Hodl gang in the Bitcoin Army.
A bull stacking sats, guarding calmly. Orange pilled, wearing bitty camo swagger. Roller coaster junkie with a BTC dagger. Came from the silence, woods knew my name.
Cabin on the edge, owls call me to my claim. Quartz in the rock, fire in my chest. Left, 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 right, left.
They can't decode what the spirit encrypted. No backdoor hack, no keys getting lifted. Guard in the flame, can't break what's real. Bitcoin is truth, it's the winning hand, the real deal.
Dying, dying, Bitcoin Army pushes BTC.
With a Hodl gang, we rise, we ride. Bitcoin Army, walk with pride. One by one, while the fiat crawls. March with fire, never stall.
One truth, one chain, we answer the call. Stacking sats with every breath. Left, 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 right, left.
Not for the banks, we're fighting to use our own money. We're bunkered down and ready when the system wants to FUD me.
Decentral mind can't trace this route. Even NSA can't figure me out.
They hedge with noise, we answer facts. While they chase pumps, we don't relax. We play chess like royalty, we're not pawns. Dragons light in the sky, orange in the digital dawn.
Fringe, we never flinched. This isn't a dream, no need to be pinched.
Rooster struts, dragon roars. Wolf wants in, owl will keep score. We see the grid and we don't forget.
Left, 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 right. Dun 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 dun.
Bitty soldiers march forward, up and down. Never gonna sell, we don't sell out, have no doubt. That's a Roger out.